Next step, we want to cut down the very hard edge of the fret so the slide in and sit on the fretboard evenly. No hard edge anymore. Fretboard radius looks like it's should have been a 12, it should be 12, but it's rocking. I think it's rather a 10 radius, or maybe a 9.5. Something between 9.5 and 10. Let's bend the frets. Before I start the bending process, I want to clean up the fret wire, because it could be oily, and you don't want oily fret wire into your fretboard, because it could slip out or, yeah, would things make harder. See? So let's start and make a little bit of a tighter radius than a 9.5, because you want to spread the fret inside of the fret slot. I already bent the fret wire, and the very last step working on a fretboard is to clean out the fret slots. I made myself a little device, it's a little knife. It's cut it out of a Japanese pull saw, filed some cutting grooves right here, and I can use this side too to clean it out. See all the dust, dirt, the grunge down there. We'll take then some compressed air to clean it out really out. Just be aware of, don't pull it through this edge, because you don't want to chip the lacquer, as always. Working on old guitars can be so tensioning, because you really don't want to harm, and it's always a matter of what do you want. Do you want the guitar preserved again and kept its mojo, or do you really want to clean it up again and look like it's never been played or brand new? I'll go with the mojo, always, because every guitar has its story. Unless there is no way, so it's really gummed up and hit 1,000 times, you might want to make just a respray or something like this. Here is the great patina I want to keep. See, this one is already cleaned, and this one not. See? Don't want to have this under your frets. Cleaned it all out with compressed air, and I will just cut all the frets to length. Put them into my, I don't know what is it in, Oompa-Loompa-ish. So I will cut every fret to its length, and we see us nipping off the very last end of the tang, so it doesn't come out the fret slot, and we need to file it. So it's dangerous, because we want to be framed with this lacquer edge. We don't want to touch it. Before we hit the fret in, as I said, I want to remove the tang. I will take this special made plier to cut it away, 3mm. So the tang is not visible on the side, and maybe a little drop fill with super glue, CA glue, will hide it. The other reason why I'm doing this is because when the fret tang is still there, you need to file very flat next to the lacquer edge, and I don't want this. So I can file at an angle, and I can see where the edge is, and when I hit the very edge, I know the fret is level and won't stick out, and I don't work on here. Would be horrible, heart attack. Before we pound them in, I want to take some super glue. I just like to glue the frets in, and the super glue is, in my experience, I can reheat it and I will get it out. Ooh, hands are shaking. Just a little bit. That's enough. Take the hammer, take the thread, one on each side, or two, and then in the middle to spread it out. That's perfectly seated everywhere. Super glue will dry fast and we can move on. After pounding every thread in, we can file the edges, work on. If you would use hot glue or something else, you have to wait until it cures. Sometimes you don't get a good cutting edge with these pliers, so I want to file a little bit and then show you another trick. Just take the thread end and maybe don't do it on the guitar, do it over here. I should make something where I can slip the thread in, and just want to clean up it a little bit here. And I heard someone saying that it helps laying the thread better on the edges is to bend them a little bit more on the outside. Just a little bit. Super glue. Without shaking, you don't even have squeeze out. Left, left, right, right, middle. Yep, I like it. Let's make the other ones. Let's move on to the last fret. Don't want to do it in front of the guitar because these cutoffs are really sharp and don't want to harm anything. Don't want to have it on your working bench. Little lip of CA glue. Very cool. Every thread works great. Got actually no squeeze out of the glue. This is, I think, just a little blemish. These are the highlights because when the fretboard is oiled, you won't see anything. Yeah, I'm pretty happy how it came out. I will let it cure just a little bit, give myself a break, and then nip off the ends, file the ends, level the frets, crown them, making the fret ends smooth, and we're done. But it's a long way to go. So let's trim the fret ends. I grounded this plier flush so I can come really close to the fretboard. Don't want to have this on your table. It will scratch everything. As you can see, here is no fret tang left. We just put in some super glue, maybe some wood dust, and it will disappear. But first, let's clean the workbench, because now you're done with the rough stuff and you want to keep everything clean. That's what I do. I need my workbench clean, because clean workbench, clean work. Way better. This one. Let's move on to these gaps we have from the old fret tang. We want to fill them. I will take just a drop of a super glue, and when we polish and when we sand it and polish it, it will be nice and smooth. Just a little bit of a drop. Just want to make sure that everything is well filled, just to make it look nicer. Got everywhere a little bump, a little drop, and let's hit it with the accelerator. The accelerator will bake the super glue. The chemical reaction heats it up, and it's actually just naphtha, the accelerator, so you have to refill the gaps. Okay, so now it's time to trim off this very sharp edge, and we want to file it on an angle, and the angle says it's 35 degrees. And I made a little jig where I can put the file in. Let's run across, and because of the filling, we should be able to see where we are in the ballpark for this edge, because we want to obtain this very delicate edge. Before I start, I just want to be sure that I can't damage the lacquer, and I just took a piece of a cardboard and glued it onto so the file won't harm anything. So let's start with the file. Maybe want to turn the file around so the teeth are showing in this direction. I want to lead the file this way. Turn it around and might change the plan. Because of all the bumps, the file starts to jump when we come closer. So before I bevel the threads, I will remove the most of the super glue fill with this sanding stick I made. Or file it. This will be a very long day. Maybe just file it flat, and when we have the bevel on the threads, we can come in with all of the sandpaper grits, polish it in. That looks really fine, but it will be a long job. I decided to come in from both sides. I will file the bevel and then file the nibs. I just want to have something like a depth stop, so I see where I'm near the edge we want to obtain. When I'm filing inside of the paper, I know I'm pretty close. Filed it until I touched the tape, so I know we are pretty close, and I will continue sand or file the nibs away, and after that the sides are finished to sand and at least polish. I already started to level it all out. It's 420. No, it's not 420. It's 240 grit. I really just want to get rid of the bubble lines, just like this. Smooth the edge. Sand every grit higher, higher and higher, and then polish it with the whole guitar. So the last step to do is to polish the frets, and I use chrome polish, and look how dirty the masking is already. I will take a cloth to do this. They start to shine really nice. Polish them all up. I think you can see the difference. Can you see? This one is shining, this not. Now just rub it on too, and I like this chrome polish because it's really coarse and brings it to a good shine. And you're fast. Oh, so dirty. It's really wet. And now comes the fun part. Taking off the masking. Remember that I made 2 layers first? And here we just have a little bit of water inside, here and there, and we just need to wash it off. I'll take some naphtha. Oh god, I love it. The fretboard will look so great. I like it. Here is a sharp lacquer edge, but I have to sand it for about 800 and then 1200 and polish just the sides. Don't know if I should put on the oil first or later. Gotta make a break and think about it.
One eternity later.
Alright, just take 800 wet sandpaper and shoot this very edge. And you can hear it's not from the frets, it's just the very lip. Just the last touch up before we can oil. 1200. Last side. And now let's oil it and finish it. This is something I enjoy so much. You can see how the fretboard pops out. Put it everywhere. I want to oil it now, and then after polish I will oil it a second time. Just wait a few minutes and wipe off the excess. You really want to remove everything you can get out of the oil because it will turn sticky. And now we're finished with the fretboard, yeah! I'm very pleased. It will play great. Fret ends look great. And a nice polish. Look how they shine. Awesome. And this is for the future. I don't know for what, but I like it. I will keep them.